Welcome back to the Horror Academic, and it's a new week, so here's a new review. Last night I watched Black Demons. Oh, a lot of glare. There you go. Black Demons. I'm gonna say this was not the worst movie I ever saw, but it needed some help. And apparently Umberto Lenzi, the director, agrees with me because there's a short interview with him, like 10-minute interview at the end, and he's like, yeah, that movie didn't work. And he was right. There was some good things, some good ideas, but some poor follow through. And it seems to have a lot to do from what he was saying in the interview with casting issues and shooting in a foreign country without as much available resources, i.e. better actors. So, and I totally agree with that sentiment because they're kind of lackluster, like, let's get to the basic story, okay? 3 college-age kids go to Brazil on vacation, and 2 of them, a brother and sister, are kind of enjoying just sightseeing and taking pictures of the landscapes and what there is of Brazil to see. And the girl's brother is bored by all this, and he's like, well, why did we come all the way to Brazil if we aren't going to find out about real macumba voodoo? And they're like, let's stick to the tourist stuff, we're fine, So he gets fed up with them and he runs off, and he goes and finds someone that he can pay to take him to a real voodoo ritual. And he records it on a old Walkman. It's just like, boop, kind of like, not really on the slick, but trying to be on the slick. And through course of events, they end up kind of like roughing it out in the sticks and meet up with a couple of backpackers who are staying at this old, kind of dilapidated mansion. They get invited to stay with them. The mansion, they say, as much as they've tried, nothing's really working of building it up and making it better. There's something maybe wrong with this place. Big tip. And that night, in the cemetery across the street, or not across the street, probably part of the grounds, the brother goes down and listens to his recording of the voodoo rite. And the dead are raised. Turns out the mansion was a site, it was essentially like a plantation, and they had many slaves, African slaves, and the master was notorious for being violent and evil to his slaves. They all formed like this pact to run away. Most of them, I believe, get away, but 6 of them are captured, and he tortures them. He blinds them and then hung them. So it is these 6 slaves who are buried on the grounds that were captured, who are coming back using this voodoo rite. They're coming back to get revenge on the household. There's a woman who works for the kids who are running the place, who is just like a housekeeper, who is very spiritual and catches right away that this other kid is up to something. And she tries to ward off any bad mojo. And she's got voodoo dolls, she's got candles out, she's got, Christian iconography surrounding her, and she's trying to fight it off, but gets thwarted. And in the end, the zombies slowly kind of pick everybody off. The couple, they get most of everybody, The zombies are well done. Think of this as a cross between Fulci's Zombie, which is a classic, and I love it. It's, and that had some issues, but I still love that movie. And Sugar Hill. So Sugar Hill works with the more voodoo zombies and the idea of revenge through zombies. There's no zombie master in this, though. So it's kind of those two mashups. The style is more zombie, too. And the story is a little more Sugar Hill. But in the end, it does some things right and does some things wrong. Aside from the issues with the poor pacing and the lackluster acting, particularly coming off of the research I just did, and reading and watching horror noir, this is definitely a scenario that they would classify as blacks in horror, not black horror, because even though it is, they're in Brazil, there's people of color, it is still exploitative in that nature of otherness. It's like, oh, it's that, they're the wicked thing over there. Even though the storyline kind of makes you care for the plight of the zombies in that way. Lenzi, also in this really short interview, argues that it's not a zombie movie. He'd never made a zombie movie, he says. I made a revenge film that featured voodoo. Sure. If you use voodoo to raise the dead to get revenge, boom, you got a zombie movie. The thing that was more annoying to me than if you want to classify it as a zombie film or not is the fact that it is called Black Demons because, I don't know if that's the universal title, but the marketing explanation of that title is that it is Demons 3. You should all know Demons. If you don't, you should. It is the wonderful movie of zombies coming back into cinema. Demons 2 is a similar story, but it takes place in an apartment complex at a girl's 16th birthday, I believe. So those are the two Demons films that are clearly defined. And then I have seen 3 movies now that claim to be Demons 3. There was The Church, I believe the Sect, the Church, the Ogre, and now Black Demons, all claiming to be Demons 3. And then there's Demons 4 and 5. So what? So stop. If it's not part of that series, stop putting the numbers there. This, if anything, should have been called Zombie 6, no matter what Lenzi thinks, if it's a zombie movie or not. It has way more in common with Fulci. Lenzi was also really pissed that it was marketed as Demons 3 because he says he's never seen Demons. But no, it takes place in a movie theater with zombie-like demons coming back. So I think that part might be a little prefabricated. But anyway, just give it a better name. That would have been helpful. But yeah, calling it Black Demons. And I believe this was the title, but I guess it was too close for them to not take advantage of it and just throw a number in there. So yeah, so good things, bad things. The zombie makeup is good. The zombie effects are good. The premise of why the zombies are coming back, I appreciated. I thought that was a good idea. It's not awful, but it's not an exciting movie. That's the problem. It is not like Zombie, where I want to see what happens next. It is, or Demons, where I want to see what happens next. Now I was just kind of like, what to do? I was kind of bored. I was watching on my computer, and I found myself opening, tabs and looking at Twitter, and I'm like, it's not engaging me, but I still want to see the end. So, this one on like a 1 to 10 is like a 5, right? That's not awful, but that's what it is. Anything else that I wanted to say? Yeah, so the actors, the Americans and the Brit, and he even says the only person he actually hired who was in the movie was the guy who plays Dick, who is the guy who raises the dead, so he's kind of a dick. But he's the kid who he was like, that's the kid I want for this. And he had apparently cast some starlet to be his sister, and he was upset that the girl that they picked instead, when she couldn't come to Brazil with them, wasn't even pretty. How Italian a director are you? Yeesh, Lenzi, man. Could have been more engaging. So he also talks about how the interviewer tried to get him into this philosophical thing about black versus white, and he's like, oh, it's third world versus white, civilization. All of these things are problematic. I understand that. I know this. This is all colonialist, and I understand that, but he's an old Italian man. And by the way, that was the other weird thing about this. This is supposedly like the Lost movie from 91. 91. And this DVD came out from Shriek Show. under license in 2002, but I think this copy was more like 2010 that I got, which is kind of what's sticking in my head. But um, yeah, so was it buried? Was he trying to make it hard to find? Curious about that more than about any of the other stuff, to be honest, at this rate. But 91, and it kind of looked a little bit more like 81. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. And what's with the eyes? Italy, man. I get it. Zombie had that great splinter scene, and eyes and Argento stuff are always you spend your time in a movie doing this, like this is a movie that gets you twice with the eyes. Oof. But they got the makeup really good on him, so okay. Macumba as a word. Do we only use that in Italian horror because Romero said it in Dawn of the Dead? This is something I wonder every now and then. So, just wondering. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be. Yeah, right. Demon 3, Zombie 6. Yeah, so much does Shriek Show, who put this out, so much do they know, the Media Blasters company, that this should have been Zombie 6, is that part of the extras are the trailers for Zombies 2 through 5. So I think I can end it there. That pretty much sums it up. Black Demons, aka Demons 3, more like Zombie 6. Umberto Lenzi fans, this is no Cannibal Ferox, guys. But, I mean, like I said, it wasn't awful. A 5 is not a bad on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So, if you're a completist like me, and you gotta watch all the Italian horror you can get your hands on, check it out. But know that it is not going to be a fine cinematic experience. It'll be okay. And that's just all I got to say about that. I'll see you guys next time.